Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Look at the cute puppies.
I know, it's the babies.
The
It's
Christmas puppy
babies.
is white as snow.
White as, well, sort of.
Should be white as snow.
So as we said before we even started the broadcast, we're winging it like angels in the sky tonight, okay? We're winging it. And we know how to get the dogs back. That's all we have to do is get the dogs back, just like that. And so there's not going to be, I mean, you remember Candid Camera years and years ago with Alan Funk? Okay, so we just dated ourselves, but somebody's got to date
Funk,
us.
it was fun.
Funk.
Like punch.
Funk. Like jive talking. We just watched the thing on the Bee Gees. And just before we got on to do the show, we watched My Cousin Vinny again for like the 15th millionth time, where we can quote the script. We have our favorite. Can you tell I'm in Villa Rica at Georgia with my sister Christine at her home. And we, when we get together for the holidays, we have our favorite movies. We watch It's a Wonderful Life. We watch It's the Wizard of Oz. We watch Twister. Mm-hmm. We watch The Princess Bride. Mm-hmm. We watch all of our favorite movies. And my mother just shakes her head and she's like, girls, you've seen these movies like hundreds of times. You can quote the script. I'm going to my room to read a new book. Like, okay, Mom, fine. Be that way. Just be that way. Because, are you bored? Are you bored already? Because we just started. And
okay, time to go.
Okay. Okay, so all right, you go, and then when I squeak the toy, you can come back, okay? You go, and when I squeak the toy. Thank you. Oh, COVID kisses. Okay. All right, so you can come back when you're ready, whenever you're ready. Okay, so what I did tonight, and my apologies to Clement Clark Moore, who wrote the original poem, 'Twas the Night Before Christmas, and with appreciation for the inspiration offered by John Tenney for his version of this poem. I'm going to do an abbreviated version of it. And Christine, my darling sister, also known as Quaz, among our closest. Okay, well, I'm sorry, but your name's in the poem that way. I'm sorry. Okay, so anyway, so what we're going to do is an abbreviated version of this poem, and she's going to take care of all the props. Because you see, we were in theater together for 20 years. We were with the Theater Company of Rhode Island. Mm-hmm. And so we did lots and lots of shows together. And she always took care of all the best props and, took care of everything, made sure I had all my stuff. And I knew she had all of her stuff lined up. How's your family, by the way, Tony? Is everybody having a wonderful day, wonderful night?
They're doing great. Like you said, even with all the negativity and in 2020, it's still the holidays. It's still great to be together and spend the time. You can never complain about that. And yes, it's been fantastic. So thank you for asking.
I'm so glad. Please give them my love. You have the most fabulous family. I can't wait to meet them all in person. I can't wait. Okay,
can't wait to meet you as well in person. And so excited for this poem and props. Can't wait.
Okay, here we go. We got it. Okay, we got it.
Oh, wait. Ready?
Okay, show your ear. Turn your head and show your ear. Elf ears. Okay, all right. That's the first of the props.
Ready.
'Twas the night before Christmas when all through the house every creature was stirring, watching cats chase a mouse. It's got catnip in it. Okay. Chimney stockings were stuffed with toys, dog toys galore, so laden with treats that they might hit the floor. The puppies were nestled all snug in their beds when visions of stardom soon danced in their heads. And Mama in her jammies, she's in bed, and Quaz in her cap The cap. There you go. Were both more than primed for a long winter's nap. When up on the roof there arose such a clatter, I sprang from my seat to see what was the matter. Away to the window I flew like a flash, tore open the sash, and then made a mad dash. The moon shone so brightly, the grass looked like snow, and glowed with a luster on objects below. When what to my wondering eyes should appear but a miniature vessel? They're here, have no fear. She bought it for me at the dollar store yesterday. It was great. With a cute little pilot, so skinny and quick, I knew in a moment this wasn't Saint Nick. More rapid than light speed, his coursers they came. Then he whistled and giggled and called them by name. Now stardust, moonbeam, dark crystal and snowflake. The course was pre-programmed. We were aimed for the lake. Oh, Comet and Cupid, you dipsticks are stupid. I whispered quite softly, you made no mistake. He was lanky and lean, and by no means an elf. And I laughed when I saw him, in spite of myself. A wink of his eye and a twist of his head soon gave me to know I had nothing to dread. His eyes, how they twinkled, his dimples, how hairy. His cheeks were as blushed as a sprite or a fairy. Embarrassed was he for being off course. But this wasn't a race, and he was no horse. He sprang to his ship, to his team gave a whistle, and away they all flew like the down of a thistle. But I heard him exclaim as they zoomed out of sight, Happy Christmas to all, and to all a good night.
That was great. That was fantastic.
It's ridiculous.
Oh, we had so much fun. My darling sister helped me. I was like, I can't screw up the iambic pentameter. It's got to have the exact same. Okay. And I kept reading she's in here all over the table, like wrapping gifts for hours after working since 6 o'clock this morning up at the crack of dawn. It was before dawn. And I'm just sitting here writing the poem out. Oh, based on, she printed out the original, and I was like, okay, I got to get this exactly right. And I kept reading it to her over and over and over again. And she change this word and fix that word and slip this in and slip that in. And we had a blast. We had a blast. That's what this is all about, huh, baby girl?
So now I will go tend to the dogs. Wish everybody a very Merry Christmas. And I hope everybody has a so much better New Year. And we'll see you soon.
Bye. Mwah. Mwah. Okay. All right. So she's taking the dogs out to go pee for one last time. Don't trip over the cord. There you go. Okay. Good. Okay. So, and maybe mom will get up. That would be great if she does. But if not, this is a wonderful time. All right. This has, catnip in it, which is why it's snowing.
Wow.
It's snowing in Villa Rica, Georgia. It's snowing. Oh my God, the dogs are going nuts. It's a freaking Christmas miracle. My father came up from Orlando. It's just going to be the four of us. We have this massive family. And it's sad because everybody's just a few miles within each other, within the distance. Right. And we can't see anyone. We can't see them because, Dad was quarantined for 2 weeks before even coming. so that he could see mom and just be with us for a couple of days. But at about 8:00 tonight, he's like, "Oh, honey, I can't do this. I'm so old and I'm so tired, and I dragged him all over the place today." Come on, get up here, you goofy dogs. Oh, they were playing in the snow. Oh my God, it's snow. So, and mom's just, bless her heart. I told her, I said, I'll just put it on Facebook Live for a few minutes sometime over the course of the next few days so that we can, have everybody together to say hi. But this was, I was very generous of you to do this on, oh no, don't chase the kitties, to do this on Christmas Eve.
My pleasure.
Because it's the only chance that I will get to say hi to my friends. And I so appreciate all of them. I was sent beautiful cards and beautiful gifts by so many people this year. So many people reached out, and the kindness is astounding to me. When Dad came up, he brought a stack of cards about that thick with him, and we took them and we put them out all over. Those are just the ones that came to the house in Florida, plus all the ones that came to this house. And I know I've got a bunch of my good friends who came on tonight, just so that they could at least see Chrissy and, in hopes of seeing Mom and Dad. But it was just too long a day. It was just too long and hard a day, and everybody's exhausted. So we'll do a Facebook Live. We'll do something while they're here.
That is an unfortunate thing, especially during the holidays, because families have been separated. Like you said, even if you're close in physical distance, you still run the same concerns. But luckily, there are devices like live streaming, like we're doing now, and your friends can at least interact. And I see a ton of messages flowing in, and I'll make sure I pop some of those up throughout tonight so you can see. But at least there are technology like this that allows at least to be able to communicate. And like you said, if you're doing a Skype Live or a Facebook Live with them, you can still have a little communication. So in that sense, the technology does help.
Yeah, we were watching a thing. CNN did a special on the 1918 pandemic. Dad couldn't watch it. He lost so many family members during the 1918 pandemic that it completely altered the entire course of his family history. His mother was the only child in the family that survived.
Wow.
And of eight, she lost her 8 siblings, and they all died around her. She was just 3 years old, and her father, who was off making caskets, that was his job at the casket company in Rhode Island. When he came home, he found her, and she was the only one alive in the house.
Wow.
And so she spent the vast majority of her childhood in an orphanage. And it wasn't until he was able to get over his loss and to accrue enough money and to find a new wife much later that he could marry the woman that we knew as Big Meme. And he married her. And then they took my grandmother, my Meme, Cora, out of the orphanage. And a few years later, she married my Pepe, and my father was their firstborn. So had she not survived, I wouldn't be here. And
very true.
It's when I think, it's so hard because, you want to be festive, you want to be happy, you want to be with your family, you want to, have all the same things that we've experienced lifelong through the holidays. And this year you can't, not if you're cognizant in any way of how many empty seats will be at tables and how many people will be mourning the loss of a loved one this year. And it's going to get worse before it gets better. And everybody needs to know that, because as difficult as it is, it's the truth. Right. And sometimes the truth is very difficult to swallow, but it's preferable to lies and deceit.
Well, exactly. And nobody likes to hear bad news or negative news, but I believe you are absolutely correct that this is not done. It is not over, and it will worsen before it gets better. And yeah, people need to have that in the back of their mind, because, you know, you can never prepare for something like that, but to at least acknowledge that that is probably going to happen, at least sets a stage that it's not that shock factor. And I mean, it's going to be anyway. I mean, anytime people are lost or loved ones are lost, it's a terrible thing. But know that that course is in process, and it's not done yet. And so, yeah, you need to be aware of that, and you need to try at least to prepare for what's yet to come.
Yes. Oh, I have a wonderful surprise. I thought she might get up. Oh,
yay!
Mama. This is my beautiful, wonderful mother. This
Hello.
is my producer. That's Tony Rathman. He's my producer and my dear friend, and he's so sweet.
Hi, Tony.
Hello. Hi, how are you?
I'm sorry I faded out on you, honey.
It's okay. It's okay.
There was too much happening today. We're all exhausted.
Sure, and it's 20 after 10 there already.
With you and say hello.
Well, that's fantastic. You know what? I'm gonna jump off for and let you guys run with it. So, pleasure to meet you, and I'll turn you over to the audience.
Oh, thank you. Oh, Mom, thanks for getting up, sweetheart. Bless your heart. I'll let you sleep in the morning, and I'll bring you coffee in bed. Okay. Okay. Good. All right. So this is my mom, and a lot of you know her, and she is my whole heart and soul and the light of my life. And, well, you're my world. You are. Did you hear what we did? Did you hear what?
Yes.
We had fun. I finished rewriting the damn poem. Oh my God. It took for hours. So anyway, this is an opportunity for everybody to meet Mom, and we had a busy day, huh, sweetheart?
Yes,
we did, and Papa's here. Oh God, Papa's here, which has gone really, really well. I haven't even needed my referee uniform or anything.
No.
It's been so good. Yeah, they didn't always get along as well as they do now, and we're waiting for April to show herself, because our dearly departed sweet sister and daughter, April, always makes her presence known around Christmas time. She does. And so we already heard from her daughter, and she had told us about an incident which occurred at her home recently. So we know she's around. And the other day you were falling into a sleep that was a little too deep, yes? And what did she say to you?
Mom, wake up. And it woke me up for sure. It startled me, and I woke right up. She refuses to leave the premises.
Yeah.
And she comes back to visit frequently. She throws pennies on our floor.
She does.
Yeah.
She does. Pennies from heaven.
Pennies from heaven, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. My friend Daryl's brother does that too. And Daryl's the same way. He's not a change collector. He never carries change. Christine never has change because she throws it in the transom of her car. And so there's no change hanging around the house. And Mom got up the other morning and there are 2 pennies laying at her feet. And then Christine vacuum cleaned thoroughly. And then like a day after that, there were 2 more pennies laying at her feet. So yeah, she shows up and lets us know when she's around. She does. And so we've been doing, very careful social distancing, doing our shopping, what little shopping we didn't do online, and making adjustments for this bizarre holiday. Come here, Sam. Come here. Come here, baby. Oh, that's my baby. Oh.
Now, can you excuse me?
Yeah, okay. You got to kiss the dog first. You got to kiss the puppy.
COVID kisses.
COVID kisses. That's my baby. Okay, so Mom's going back off to bed. And I love you dearly.
I love you too. I'm going to smoke first.
Oh, good. That's great, Mom. That's just awesome. Do that. Okay. So I'm back, and I know I look really tired, and I have no makeup on, and I have my stars and my moon robe on, and so it's Christmas Eve, and it's really strange. Tony, come back to me, honey. I have to tell you something that I do every Christmas Eve. And I don't know why I do, but at midnight, I watch midnight mass. And, I was born and raised Catholic, but I haven't been a practicing Catholic for many decades, nor is anybody in the family. But that was also something that April would do. Every Christmas Eve at midnight, we would watch the rebroadcast of Midnight Mass from the Vatican. And it occurred to me that might have something to do with my Uncle Eugene's influence, because he served Pope John the 23rd directly. He had an apartment off the papal apartment, and he was a teacher at the school. He spoke 7 or 8 languages fluently. And when we did the thing on the Queen Mary, I talked about my Uncle Gene and how that was his modus operandi for getting back and forth across the pond every few years.
Yeah, I remember you mentioning that.
When he would come to visit. And he was actually a brother of the Sacred Heart.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And he was extremely well known and extremely well respected, and deeply mourned and missed when he passed away in his mid-50s. So the last time I saw my Uncle Gene, I think I was maybe 13 or 14 years old. And yet I feel him all around me all the time. And I think that when I watch Midnight Mass on Christmas Eve, it's like a touchstone. It's like a way that I can connect with him. And my friend Chip Coffey, who, of course, dead people talk to him, tells me all the time that I don't need to have his precious rosary beads that I inherited or anything in terms of a physical object, because to be in touch or connect with him, because he's always connected to me. And so Christmas is when I make a special connection with him, when I'm marveling at the enormity of the Vatican and the beauty of the architecture, and to know that he was there. And then next time I have Dad on, I'll have him tell you this story, although he gets very choked up and he has a real hard time talking about it. But decades after we lost Uncle Gene, he had the opportunity to go to Rome. And he went to the door of the college, and he introduced himself and said who he was a family member to, and they immediately took him into the Vatican and gave him a tour that no layman gets. I mean, took him into the catacombs, took him into the archives, took him through the college and all through the Vatican. He got to meet everyone from top to bottom, and all spoke so highly of my Uncle Eugene. All of them that knew him couldn't say enough about him, and were so thrilled to get to meet his nephew. You know, he was my great uncle. He was my father's uncle, his father's brother. And so that was, I think that's kind of a strange attachment that I have. Although, you know, many people were talking this week about the Great Conjunction. And did you have a chance to see it?
You bet I did. Read all of it, watched it. Awesome. It was great.
Yes. Well,
and so true too. I mean, you were talking about, you know, the pennies showing up and the connections that happen during Christmas. I mean, let's face it, Christmas is a time where family is at the top of the list of items and the people you want to talk to, and the loved ones who are lost and passed are going to be around. They're going to visit, and I think that's also part of the reason why you're doing things that you may have done when you were younger and with other family members, and that influence is going to stick, and they may be there pushing you to do it, but that's just wonderful to hear that. Just absolutely wonderful.
Well, you know, for about a decade, I've been lecturing to whomever will listen to me about the paradigm shift and the planets aligning and the coming age of Aquarius and what will shift us and help yank us out of our very limited 3D, our dimensional consciousness, which is so limited and so oppressive in 3D, and that we will open up and we become far more enlightened, and we will be able to transcend this environment, and through opening our hearts and opening our minds, that we will be able to go through 4D into 5D and beyond. Most people who are involved in physics think, you know, if there is a spiritual realm, it's in the fourth dimension. In fact, I have a friend who's a professor of physics at the University of Arizona. And, you know, I gave him the trilogy when I first wrote the trilogy. I sent it to him and I asked him to read it, you know, when he had time, because, you know, it's that thick. And I asked him if he would kind of give me a critique of it. And I didn't hear from him for months. And I thought, oh, God, he hated it. And then I got an email from him. And this is what it said. House of Darkness, House of Light is a masterpiece and offers empirical evidence for the existence of the fourth dimension. I was like, oh, yes, it was worth the wait. The efficacy of language aside, I was so delighted. I was so thrilled that it touched his heart, but likewise opened the mind of a physicist. You know, people think that, you know, Einstein, Tesla, I mean, some of the greatest minds that have ever existed on this planet, they were also people of faith. They, you know, there was no line of demarcation between, you know, having a religion or having a belief system and science. And so I think that that's an important topic to discuss, because there's so many people right now that are decriers of science. I can't tell you how many times a day I get a message from somebody, don't take the vaccine. It's got nanoparticles in it. They're going to track you everywhere for the rest of your life. And I'm like, are you people kidding me? Oh, my God. Okay, how about I'm going to listen to Dr. Fauci? He bared his arm and they plunged a needle into it, okay? If he's willing to take it, I'm going to take it. And if any of you people think you're not being tracked now because you've got a computer and you've got a smartphone and you've got GPS in your car, everybody knows everything at all times. And frankly, I just don't think that they're going to inject nanoparticles to track us into our bloodstreams. And if anybody's going to do that, it's going to be them. All right. So, they can stop sending me messages, because when I am able to get the vaccine of my choice, which will be the Moderna vaccine, by the way, I am going to do it. And then I'm just going to sit in the pharmacy and wait for 4 weeks until I can get my second dose, so that I can get back out into the free world and be free to hug my friends and, embrace my followers and be there, be a part of the world again, and not have to be sequestered and kept off, which I personally don't mind. I don't have an issue with that. I'm a very social creature, but I love my alone time. My mom loves her alone time. My father hates being alone. Hates it. I can't hear you. You muted yourself. There you go.
I did. I apologize. But you're absolutely right. Everyone needs a certain degree of alone time, and it'll vary based on each individual as to how much they need. Some people need less, some people need more, but it does create that balance. But you're absolutely right. One of the biggest takeaways from the changes that occurred in 2020 and this virus was the fact that basically all of the enjoyable things, all of the sharing with other people, that's what was lost. And that was probably the hardest thing to take. I mean, it was bad enough that if somebody got sick from COVID, you couldn't be there with them while they were going through it. But it was hard enough just to stay away from normal family members and not be able to get that interaction. So you're right. If a virus does show up, or when it does, and if it's effective, I think there's very few people that are going to not take it for whatever reasons, nanoparticles or tracking devices or what, because they want their life back. They want their family and friends back, and they want to be able to interact. Now, you've got people from conspiracy theories saying, well, that's the whole reason they took away all those things so that you will take it. But, you can go down a million paths and look at it from 100 different angles. But the fact of the matter is, people want their lives back, and they're going to do what they need to do to get that back.
Yeah, and the vaccine, that so many scientists all over the world jumped on this as fast as they did. And because it's a coronavirus, because it's basically the same type of virus as the common cold, there have been many in the scientific community that have been working on coronaviruses for years and years. This one's just very different, and it's sneaky, and it's insidious, and it presents as extremely intelligent. It has stymied us in terms of the fact that it treats, well, like the report that was just done on the 20-year-old perfectly healthy girl who had the virus in May and was just hospitalized with heart failure in November. That was on the national news. And she's like, I don't know. How could this be that the virus attacked her heart? And even though she was over all the other symptoms of it,
right,
she couldn't walk her dog, and she was so fatigued, and she didn't understand. And meanwhile, fluid was building up around her heart, and her heart muscle had suffered some permanent damage. And she ended up in the hospital being treated for heart failure as a 20-year-old.
Right.
So I think it behooves all of us to take this very seriously, because there, but for the grace of God, go I. It's something that we must consider and that we have to work around. But what amazes me is how creative we've gotten in the working around it thing.
Right.
I mean, it really is amazing that we can be with our loved ones like this, that we can reach out and touch other people through this platform and others similar to it.
Exactly. Yes.
You know, what a gift. Talk about a Christmas miracle. I think the vaccines are a Christmas miracle. And I don't think that the scientists all leaped in on this simply because each and every one of them wanted to be the next Jonas Salk. I think that they legitimately want to save humanity from this scourge.
Right. I completely agree. Right.
Credit. They're looking for effectiveness.
Right.
That's what matters to them. And
I completely agree to that. And yeah, it's not about building a name anymore. It's about saving humanity and saving the life that we all knew and enjoyed, and getting back to that. And you know, you see it happening from, you know, industries and companies all over the world working together to find the answer. And, you know, in most situations that wouldn't happen. You'd have separate companies focusing on separate things, but they are working collectively to find an answer. And, you know, that alone helps the whole perspective of that sort of selfish world that we were living in. And hopefully the paradigm changes and the changes that you've been talking about the last 2 months, you know, we're starting to see that happen. And that, to me, that's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, it really is. You know, the thing that I find most inspiring about this is that if this truly is the final foot in the door of that shift from the Piscean age to the age of Aquarius, that this virus is teaching us how to love each other from a safe distance. It's teaching us that what comes from our heart is the most important element and aspect of our humanity. It's teaching us that love is our superpower. And it is most importantly teaching us not to take anything or anyone for granted anymore.
Yeah, you couldn't have said that better, because, you know, that's something that, you know, the human society has really degraded on over the past, you know, I don't even know where to start, 50 years, 100 years, but, you know, the people, the relationships and how people treated other people, and just has been going downhill for as long as I can go back and remember. But, you know, and it's sad that it takes something so severe as this to change it, but maybe that is what it takes. And let's hope that people will be able to see that and be able to realize how important life is, and the experiences you have with one another, and treating them the way that, you know, you want to be treated, and that respect and that love. Let's hope that, you know, if something so negative as COVID had to occur, that shift happens and people open their eyes and say, you know what, what's important are my family, my friends, the people around me, and, you know, a deep-seated change occurs from it.
Well, it's not only presented us with a series of inflection points over this past year, but I think it has provided us with a clarity of reflection. You know, when we first started the show, Tony, I think at some point along the way, I said that we associate the numbers 2020 with hindsight, but and that's valuable in its own right. But I think that this provides us an opportunity to develop some foresight.
Absolutely.
To each and every one of us to be able to imagine what we want the world to look like on the other side of this, and then hold that intention for the greater good of all humanity. And what I see crumbling is the infrastructure of greed. It's what I see crumbling. What I see fracturing is the me and only me mindset, because I do see the world as possessing two distinct mindsets.
Oh, yes.
And one being, I'm in this for me, the rest of you are on your own. And the other one is, we are all in this together. And right. I think anyone who knows me knows what side of the fence I come down on.
Oh yes.
And this is not a time that you can ride the fence. You know, I mean, you need to pick a side and pick a mindset and pick a persuasion and pick a conclusion and, stand up for what is right and rise up for what is right. Because I posted something just the other day and I meant to print it out so that I could read it on the air. But if anybody wants to see it, it's easy to find in Buttercup Brigade. I posted it there. And it was about the Grand Conjunction and how hopeful I was about the planets aligning and the coming of a new age in the age of COVID. But I was also forthright about the fact that what has been revealed to us is the evil afoot in the world. And it is evil. It's not geopolitical. It's not even exopolitical. It's good versus evil. And so that's what we're dealing with now. And my attitude about this, I always remain supremely optimistic, no matter how freaking depressed I get, because, and you can be, my mother taught me how to be perfectly happy being miserable. I know how to do that. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but you can do it. She struggles with pain every day of her life, and yet she is so cheerful and happy and thrilled to be alive and thrilled to share every moment and thrilled for the next Scrabble game and thrilled for the next cup of coffee. And, and yet she struggles through every day because her body is saying, no, we can't go there. No, you can't do that anymore, Carolyn. No. And I won't repeat what she says to her body as she forces it into action and takes it out to gather up another armload of firewood. My little tiny my little tiny mother. I mean, she's a powerhouse. She's amazing. She is. I want to be just like her when I grow up. I mean, talk about having a role model to emulate. I was so gifted with the ultimate role model.
Yes, you were. And, they always say that the mind controls the body. So if your mental state is saying, be happy about the next cup of coffee or the next Scrabble game, that's what's keeping her body going. It is that mental state because the mind has a direct control over what happens and functions within the body. So she could not be in a better spot. And although the body may hurt, it may be sore, it may be telling you, hey, I'm done for the day. That's fine. But it's that mental state that what keeps her going day after day after day. And that is fantastic.
She is amazing. And we're having a very merry little Christmas. And we're allowing our hearts to be light in spite of the darkness. And in fact, because of the darkness, this is when each and every one of us who sees with clarity what's really going on in the world,
right,
has to come to the conclusion that it is incumbent upon us to each be the light that we seek. It is incumbent upon us. Is that your beautiful wife? Is she in the studio with you?
Yeah, I just heard her talking. She was just at the bottom of the steps, so that's why I quickly muted it. But yes, that was her.
Oh, okay. Well, don't you forget to give her a big hug and a kiss for me.
You bet I will. You bet I will.
Do that because when the one time that I had the opportunity to meet her, I felt such a strong connection. Well, I feel such a strong connection to you and your whole family. I've been kicking cousins off my friends list so I can let your kids in.
I know you did. I mean, I think you were way over your 5,000 capacity when I had friend requested you. And then she came up to me and said, oh, I did too. And I got on. I'm like, she kicked somebody else off. And then my son's like, oh, I had to friend request her. She's so awesome. And then he was on there. I'm thinking, man, her cousins are going to be really upset.
They know they're nothing but placeholders and that I will eventually put them back. And the way I look at it is if you've got my personal cell phone number, you don't have to be on my friends list on Facebook, okay? You know, so yeah.
There's some truth there.
Dogs are going out. It's still snowing in Billerica, Georgia. Mom, is it still snowing? Just a little bit.
That's amazing. That is absolutely amazing.
Flakes, but Christmas magic, you know, and Christmas is magic. And, you know, if we could keep Christmas in our hearts year round, much like Charles Dickens wrote about in A Christmas Carol, which is one of my favorite stories, and incidentally, a ghost story. So how fabulous is that?
Exactly.
You know, keeping Christmas year round in our hearts, and the way that we interact with each other, the way that we express our affection for each other.
And when you get into the holiday season
and the spirit.
And it doesn't matter whether you celebrate Christmas, whether you celebrate Hanukkah,
Festivus,
or any other. You can noticeably feel the shift in people about how they interact. Little things like holding the door, and there's a complete change. And you're right, if that could continue throughout the entire year, and it usually doesn't, but if it could, what a change that would make.
Well, I've always insisted that even though it says that love is a noun in the dictionary, love is a verb, love is an action word. Kindness is a verb. It's an action word. You know, you might have a kind heart, but if you never share your smile generously with a stranger, and you never extend yourself on behalf of someone who needs a helping hand, then it never lives into its full purpose. It remains a noun. It's up to us to elevate its status into verb and put it in action in the world around us. And so when we live in that mind space, when we live in that willingness to extend ourselves to our fellow human being all the time, I truly believe that healing occurs. And we are in profound need of healing, and in many different respects. You know, not only do we need to heal humanity from COVID-19, we need to heal humanity in terms of the way we interact with each other, and the way, you know, we need to become so much more inclusive than exclusive. You know, you're not part of my tribe. You're not part of my group. I don't like how you think. I don't like what you feel. I don't like what you do. You know, and we've stopped listening to each other. We've stopped listening to each other. Well, we're so busy formulating our next thought to verbalize that we don't listen.
Right. Well, that was the key to what you said, was changing it from a noun to a verb, because it requires that action, and that action will come from making those changes in not only your behavior and your behavior to other people, but then that facilitates. You know, there's that story about if one good act of kindness gets done to somebody, then turns around because they appreciate what was done, they turn around, they do it to somebody else, and then it grows and it spreads. But the key word you said is that it involves action. And the only way to create that change is by having that action. And so that was brilliantly said, Andrea. That was brilliantly said.
Well, thank you. You know, I years ago when Katrina hit New Orleans and everybody was helping everybody, nobody stopped to, ask someone who they were putting into their boat off the roof of their house, who did you vote for? Nobody did that. Nobody did that.
Nope.
They just took them in and got them to shelter and got them dry and fed their children and rescued their animals and did the right thing for everyone that they encountered. And it was that kind of, as sad, as tragic an event as that was, and the losses that were incurred during that single weather event, we're incurring more losses every single day in the hospitals across America than we did during Katrina, than we did on 9/11, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
And I'm afraid that some people are becoming inured to it, that it is so overwhelming that it's been blocked and they're not letting themselves feel the profundity of the loss. But I think that ultimately it is allowing ourselves to feel the grief and the sadness and the loss that will help us heal, because it's what opens our hearts to each other. When we're able to, we might not have lost a member of our immediate family, but when your neighbor lost her favorite uncle, you felt something. You felt something. You extended your condolences. You felt sympathy for that family and the grief that they were having. And we can't afford to ever lose that connection. We must maintain it. We must enhance it. And I do believe that ultimately on the other side of this, whenever that occurs, we're going to look back, we, the collective big we, we're going to look back and realize how we have changed, how selfish we were, how self-absorbed we were, how objectified we were, that we did not feel empathy for our fellow human being, that somewhere along the way, we lost that, like that little synapse in our brains just broken. Went into a coma. And this is our great wake-up call. This is, and not just the virus, everything that's happening, everything that is happening, the anxiety that we feel, the fear that we feel, the grief that we feel. What's the common denominator? Feel.
Feel, yeah.
Life is a lot more than what's going on from the neck up. It's here. It's at our core. And perhaps in this quietude that we are each experiencing on some level or another, this would be a great opportunity to go within and to experience the consciousness that we all share within ourselves. And I think in so doing, many people are coming to the realization of oneness, are coming to the understanding that we are all one family, one extended family.
Yeah.
And that is a beautiful thing. And how ironic would it be on the other side of this dreaded disease that we look back and say, COVID-19 saved humanity.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And back to what you were saying too about, people feeling the pain of others and friends and family, even if you didn't go through it yourself, you know that feeling, what they're going through. You can sympathize with that. And then that feeling, and whether it's your own personal feelings of you going through it, or whether it's the empathy that you're feeling from a friend or whomever going through it, it's those feelings that then activate that action. And so basically you laid out the steps of what will get people to make the action needed to make those changes, to treat people differently with that empathy, with that respect, And COVID may be part of that overall change that, like you said, we'll be able to look back and go, wow, do you remember when life was like that, when the world was like that, when everybody was me, and now our eyes have been opened, our feelings have been opened, and our actions been opened to have changed what was going on.
Good night, honey. Yeah, Tony and I are having a talk. It's great. I love him. She said, good night, dear.
Good night.
She's off to bed with the puppy. Ooh, 2 puppies and a cat. 2 cats. God, she needs a bigger bed. God. Well, it was important to me to do this tonight, to share this with you, to share my family with everyone, to have these few moments together so that we can remember what it's like, remember how it feels to love and to ache to be with our friends, to ache to be with our family. And so many people have had to make so many sacrifices on that front this year out of nothing but a need to protect their loved ones.
Right.
Christine.
Maybe through some of those hurdles, you can appreciate your friends and loved ones before their loss comes and you can't do anything about it. Maybe COVID will also help with that. And, there's so many things, so many good things that can come from this. We just got to keep our fingers crossed that eyes will be open and that they'll happen. But, I haven't seen my family in, oh my gosh, not only just because of COVID, but because of travel and, they're across the country. But, I can't wait to talk to them online tomorrow because, I haven't gotten to do that. And, it really does open your eyes to make you appreciate that they're there and that you can still communicate with them. And so I'm looking forward to tomorrow being able to do that.
It is a whole different level of gratitude. It really is. It's a skillful cosmic combination of attitude and gratitude.
Right.
I find.
So true.
It's a blessing. Every day is a blessing. Every single day is a blessing. Just to be able to embrace my mom as she walks by and kiss her hand. What a gift. I don't need anything for Christmas. I've got it all. I'm right here with my mama, the woman that gave me life. Of course, my father, tries to take a lot more credit than is due. A lot more. It's like, Dad, I understand biology. Okay, she did all the work. Just really?
True.
You had fun. She did the work, and you're taking the credit. So, right now, Christine's having a hard time because, she works in a supermarket, and a lot of the people that work in the supermarket are getting sick now.
Right.
And so she has to deal with that on a day-to-day basis. Because of all of us, she's the one that is most exposed to the general public of all of us.
Right.
And so she takes every conceivable precaution. We know what the ramifications would be if Mom were to contract this.
Right.
And so this is something that we take extraordinarily seriously, but we refuse to allow it to rob us of this time. This is over the course of this year, I've spent about 3 months of the year up here in Georgia with my mother, and I make sure I'm not infected. I make sure I'm good to go. I make sure that when I make the trip up, not only have I not been really in close proximity with anybody that is even remotely at risk. I did one live interview with Terry Rohde, but I knew she'd been tested. We were all set. We were good to go. And I, basically live in a bubble and then drive straight through. For the one stop of gasoline that I get, I make sure I'm not anywhere near anybody else. Quick zippity doo-dah, gas up the van, and boom, I'm back on the road again. And it's worth every minute of the 7-hour drive between my house in Florida and my home here in Georgia. And, so I feel like we're being as responsible as we could be. But I also understand, in the Christmas song, "Have yourself a merry little Christmas." It's got, "If the fates allow," is one of the lines of that precious song.
Right.
And so I pray for all to come out on the other side of this, for us to find peace in our hearts and in our homes and among our friends and family, and to know that we will get on the other side of this. We will. And we will find out, we will discover how absolutely resilient and resourceful we are. And we will learn so much about ourselves, and so much will have been revealed about not only our attitudes and opinions about the world, but the shift is occurring. The shift is taking place. Empathy is returning. A feeling of not just sympathy for those that have lost someone, but being able to put yourself in that person's place, to feel their loss.
Yep, that is so true.
And when we get there, then we will have learned the lesson that came as a result of the test.
Yeah, and that perfectly said, because you take the test first, and then you learn from it. But that's the way this works. But you're absolutely correct. That's when we'll find out what we learned, and hopefully it'll all fall in line with that shift that you're talking about. And I don't see how it couldn't, because I think, like you said, I don't think this is over with yet. But I think a lot of that learning about what's important has already occurred, and let's hope that's true, because it is needed, definitely needed.
So many people have told me that they feel like time itself has been altered, that it seems like it's moving at a remarkable rate of speed and is moving as though the clocks are spinning backwards simultaneously. I've described it as walking through semi-frozen sludge. It just feels like everything's an effort. Yep. Everything's harder. Everything's more complicated. Everything's more difficult. Everything is an obstacle. And yet we find our way. Find our way. And it's so much easier if you're not trying to follow the light that's at the end of the long, dark tunnel. It's much easier if you put a hard hat on with a big light on the top of it and hit the button and lead through the tunnel. Now, be the light that you seek. Be the beacon, because it will ultimately prove that we can overcome anything, if we just simply have the heart and the will to do so.
Perfectly said.
Well, I know everybody's busy making pies and stuff and wrapping gifts. I mean, Christmas has exploded all over this house. So I'm going to make myself a cup of coffee, put midnight mass on TV, wrap a few last gifts, and settle in for my long winter's nap, which will be shorter than usual. because, Christmas morning comes early, even for the big kids.
Yes, it does.
And I just want you to know that I love you and I appreciate you. And that goes for everyone that joins us every week on this show and comes into our world awakening to a greater existence for all of humanity and all of the creatures of this magical, mystical, remarkable planet that we call Mother Earth. And so let us honor our mother. Let us honor and cherish each other. And my dear, have yourself a merry little Christmas.
You do the same. Enjoy your Christmas and especially enjoy your friends and family. And we will talk soon.
We will. Next week, same bat time, same bat channel. Ooh.
You got it.
I love you dearly.
Love
Good
you too,
night,
Andrea. Have a wonderful evening.
Merry Christmas to
Merry
all.
Christmas.
All a good night.